I like the fact that you use the word Hulk, because I was thinking, I was recently on YouTube, and I was looking at an older report about the heiress of a Korean family. They own the Korean Airlines.
Okay.
There was a famous incident where she was in first class, and she asked for a drink of water, and they brought her water, and they brought her macadamia nuts, which was the trigger for her to go Hulk. Because they brought the macadamia nuts in a bag, and she wanted it brought in a bowl, right? And she started berating the stewardess. Then she asked to get her boss, and he says, "Get the manual." And he brought the manual. And in the manual it says, "All macadamia nuts will be brought in bags for hygiene reasons." And she went ape. She went berserk. It was a major scandal. They stopped the plane. It was just about to take off. They had to land again. She made the purser get off. It was a big scandal. My question to you, I guess this is maybe not a funny story, but it's interesting. Are there Hulk situations? So I think everybody goes to Hulk. I go Hulk every once in a while, and people who love me know sometimes you just need to smile at me and say everything's okay, and then I'll immediately that's what deflates me right away. I'm misbehaving. I'm not acting the way I want to. I'm not being my better self. Are there situations that are non-rescuable? Are there Hulk situations?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. You can only invite people to get out of their distress behavior. Sometimes it doesn't work due to different reasons, because they are so distressed, and maybe this situation caused some flashback in her personal history that you do not even know. Yeah. So it's a regression to some.
Supposedly the whole family has a problem with it. So, but I mean, she had them kneel before her. She wanted to slap them. I mean, this is like this is extreme example. I don't think we have to worry. I hope you don't have to worry about this kind of stuff at work.
Some of the people are not healthy. Yeah. So you can just make invitations to other people to get out of their distress behavior. And normally for the healthy people, normal situation, it works perfectly well.
I also find from my personal experience, also from hospitality, sometimes you become so good at accommodating and de-escalating, but then there's some times where you just have to put your foot down and say, listen, you're crossing a line, and if you cross that line further, and that's what creates the realization.
It's for security reasons, and I think we have to think about another topic. Interesting one is, am I responsible for this situation, or how far am I responsible?
How long are you going to carry this?
Yeah. So if this Hulk person needs some mental treatments, this is not my responsibility to offer this in this situation, but my responsibility is to keep it for the other passengers safe, or whatever. What
I've always been a great admirer of is those people who can stand their ground, but without raising their voice, without getting uncomfortable, without getting rude. Those people I admire.
And with the eyes of PCM, each offer in communication causes some response in your own behavior. Yeah. And the question is, do you see the train coming?
Yeah.
And with PCM, you train yourself, hey, there's a train coming. And I can make a decision to avoid the conflict with this train, or it hits me directly into the face. And with PCM, you get a higher awareness of, hey, I see a train coming, but I do not react to it. So I do not use this invitation.
So I like that last sentence of yours. One of the thoughts that kind of came up from when I was listening to you was maybe it's just me, maybe it's a couple of the viewers as well, saying, okay, PCM is a great way to kind of put yourself in a driver's seat and to be more conscious of what's going on around me. Kind of to take it's maybe a little bit of an outer body experience to say, listen, don't get so involved in the process, but really be observant and kind of take the cues and kind of like a conductor, right? But one of the reflections I had, and maybe this is also based on my personal needs, is I always say, okay, it's one thing to use a tool on others, but are you using it on yourself? And I don't know if that's a higher level or for you on the same level. I think that PCM could be a wonderful, wonderful tool, not only to kind of control my environment, which we'll talk about that later, might go into the perception of manipulation, but also to use it for myself, because I think how often are we aware of where we are? Are we conscious of our behavior? We feel it, but are we really cognizant and aware of, hey, I'm going into the distress situation, right?
It's so interesting because we experience this in any seminar. When you talk about observation, people tend to observe the others.
Yeah.
Not,
we always see others, but we don't see within.
Yeah, so you need a mirror. Yeah. So the good is you have the others as a mirror to see yourself. Yeah. So of course you can observe yourself. So when I'm observing myself right now, why am I using my hands like this? Because I want to explain something.
I have to take the seminar because the promise of being able to understand the subtleties is very appealing.
Why am I using my hands like this? Because I have a big thinker part. This is my strongest part in my personality, and I like to explain things in a structured way. And I have my hands, the fingers, the pens that supports me in that. Yeah. And if I realize that, hey, I see this behavior in the mirror. So if I'm aware of this, I'm coming back to this train, I see the train coming, and then I can decide which kind of reaction am I going to do now. I think Viktor Frankl said it once. So there is a time slot in this reaction.
Yeah, there's action, and then there's that space in between before you react. That's what you have control over. And, wonderful statement,
Yeah, and this you can make a little bit longer with PCM, because if you're aware of, hey, I have the decision now, should I accept this invitation to go into my distress behavior pattern, or should I use my elevator to de-escalate it? It's my decision. And we changed, I think a few years ago, we changed our trainer certification. We're videotaping all of the sessions that our trainers are doing, and their homework is have a look at it and observe yourself, because you still remember what was the feeling I had in this situation, and then I can learn so much about my own.
Do I like what I'm seeing?
What was the reason for this? Because you have probably things in mind that the other people do not see, because there's a flashback into a presentation in school and whatever. We don't know it in the outside, and this is such a learning experience. That's why all of the people who went through our certification process say, I learned so many things about myself and why.
Which I think is, at the end of the day, almost more valuable than...
Why? Because if you can self-manage yourself, your psychological need, do I get my preferred social environments? Do I have a job where I can live out my most important character strength? Do I have this? This you can use for job design, for creating your family situation in a different way, talk about relationship in a different way. Yeah. So what's the benefit out of it? Your elevator is getting energy. Yeah. So you are quite more flexible to use all the potential on the different layers of your condominium. And this is the most important thing.
What I find incredibly appealing, regardless of whether one likes the verbiage, the vocabulary you use, I like the fact that with these 6 models, you can give the things a name, and you can identify where am I, right?
We made an interesting experience. We have clients. Yesterday I had a phone call with one. Since 2007, we are working together. So this is 17 years, and I think for about 10 years we're using PCM. And what they describe as, they defined a vocabulary in talking about conflicts, motivation, leadership. And if somebody says, hey, my rebel needs some food and fun, everybody knows what this person needs right now. It's one sentence. Before PCM, they have to explain in a feedback conversation, why did I behave like this? What do I really need? It lasts so much. It's saving time.
It's saving time. It creates effective and efficient communication. And I've heard you and Marcus talk what I call your Chinese, where I'm fascinated. They obviously know what they're talking about, but you can see the energy and the expediency of the communication.
You're speeding up the conversation about relationship, the soft side of our business.